Oh, the glories of a pre-made album. I gotta tell you, not having to figure out all the pages and everything, and the pages already being done for me in the thicknesses, game changer. Game changer. So let's talk about how I got to this point in my process. Hello, my name is Nikki and I'm with Nikki's Scrapbooking Adventures. We are creating a travel album with Vicki Boutin's Where to Next. And let me tell you, it's a gorgeous collection. It was hard to choose what papers to use. Honestly, if I had it my way, I probably would have done that aqua and blue the entire way through. But I didn't. Clearly, you see my front page here. So, when we tackle a big project like this, we have to figure out a way to organize our thoughts. Go through and pick which pages are going to be what event and that kind of thing. So luckily, I was smart enough during my journey to use a single notebook for all of my documenting. So trip planning, costs, timing, and then journaling after the fact is all in this single notebook. So I was able to quickly flip through and create sticky notes for each of the activities that we're doing. Now, when I tackle an album like this, where it's multiple days, I'm going to try to keep the date together. So, we went on April 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then came home on the 9th. So, 9th doesn't really have anything to do with this album. But each of the other days, we did a lot of stuff. And I know that I took a lot of pictures of specific elements during my journey. So, because I'm documenting this year and not 5 years from now, I can kind of remember the things that I want to document about this trip. Say I had done this 5 years down the road, I'm only going to have my journaling and the pictures to remind me what we did. So it's really important to kind of get these projects done sooner rather than later. Now, I had planned to do this in April, and it's now September. So, I mean, at least it's still 2023. It is what it is. You know, life happens. And if you're documenting your vacation several years down the road, don't forget to go grab the journaling that you did, hint, hint, during your vacation. So I'm just going to show you kind of what I picked, why I picked it, and how I went through. So we talked, and I told you in the very beginning, this is the paper that I wanted to use for my front cover. And isn't this really cool? Okay, so I had 3 copies of this paper. I think I used 2 to complete this. First one, 8 by 8 piece of paper. Okay, spine is a continuation of that paper. And then I wanted this to open up so that you could still see this. Look at how cool that looks. It just keeps on going. I really, really like how this turned out. Then, in addition, on this spine, I continued it as well. Isn't that neat? Now, these papers on here are only adhered with a small strip of like a 1 inch of ATG because I want to be able to remove them if I need to. So, I'm pretty confident I'm going to keep these the way they are. But say I'm documenting in here and I notice that one piece of paper would go better on a different page than what I had originally planned, then I can easily move it around. Very easily move it around. Because my strip of paper is in the middle. I can easily take it off. It damages this a little bit, but I can put it back on just as easy, right? So really like how this turns out. In addition, I only did a single strip of tape because I don't have magnets for this yet. This album requires some heavy duty magnets. And so I'm using the basic gray ones from Amazon. They're the large version, and I'm waiting for them in the mail. Not a big deal. I have other things that I can do, like prep my pages and print photos and talk to you guys all about that before they come. And I mean, yeah, it's going to be like 3 days or something like that. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, this is the front of my album. I really like how it is. I have yet to decide what I'm going to do on the back. Do I do white? I don't really want to do white because white shows a lot of color. Do I do black, or do I just leave it like this? Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards just leaving it. But if you guys have made many albums in the past, please, in the comments below, tell me what you do for the back page. I would love to hear it. Do you paint it? Do you add paper? Do you add cardstock? Like, this sucker is pretty chunky, but this is really, really heavyweight chipboard, really. This is like a chipboard album. Like, that's a chipboard piece of album. So I'm not really too concerned about the weight. First step was to add sticky notes in color form. So I bought a while ago a 4-pack of small sticky notes, right? And this is just from my sticky note book. I don't know. And so I had sticky notes here that I can pick a color per day. Okay. And then when I was going through, I labeled them action number 1, action number 2, action number 3, and so on. And then if one section had more than one page that was necessary, I just used the same color, wrote on it, and voila. So I went through and I was like, okay, first page, I really kind of want to do an overview. And what a better piece of paper than this right here. It has a lot of different colors that are for the entire collection, and it has words on it. I don't care really about covering the words, but I could easily, you know, take some scraps, add something right there, add my journaling, you know, just to introduce this whole trip. Maybe do a 6x6 collage of paper or of image, something like that to overview the trip. Otherwise, this kind of seemed like a waste of space. Next one, that's what this is for. Sorry, that's not museum. Next is where my notebook is going to go. So I'm actually going to create a pocket for my notebook to land right here. Now this is going to make my album a little bit chunkier. So I think I need to make this page, then figure out the magnets. Because if my magnets are off, the whole thing's not going to close. It's not going to be square, yada, yada, yada. So I think once I get going and actually creating, and I can see here I don't need a magnet, so that's fine. I need to adhere this and get it done. And I think this is going to be perfect, right? Like, you've got an overview here and you've got your notebook here. Beautiful. Now I tried to kind of match my notebook to the paper. I mean, this is a little bit off, but I think it's going to be okay. It kind of matches here and here. And I thought it was fun to use a little scripty script there. So that's why I've got this piece of paper right here, ready and waiting to add it to this little bit here. Now I cannot go sideways with this one because this is a traveler's notebook and hits like right up at the 8-point mark. I need it to go the other way to hold it. So notebook, tour. Now when we look at books, I was thinking we probably would go left first and then to the right. So first day, Scrapbook Generations is here. I picked this because it's multicolor, very fun piece of paper. And then we went to the Bass Pro Museum. Now this museum in Springfield is by far the best unexpected thing I have been to in a very long time. We had time to kill and we just decided, hey, this thing is right next door to our hotel and we're just going to go spend a couple hours. And oh my gosh, Oh my gosh, it was the coolest couple hours yeah, it was really cool. So, that being said, this whole bit, like all of the pages in here, are going to be for this museum. Like, every single page. Because it was so cool, and it definitely deserves it. So, now, when I was thinking about the museum, half of it was an aquarium. So, I made sure to pick things that will work with an aquarium. Just thinking about my trip, figuring out what kind of photos I have. I know I have a lot of photos from this museum, and I really want to highlight it in this book. This book is not going to have a whole bunch of journaling. It's just not. I have my other notebook for that journaling. This is more for image storage. Okay, so then we get to our travel day. So we were traveling from Springfield down to Memphis, and we stopped at Shadrack's, which is a amazing coffee shop down in that area. So if you haven't been there, definitely go check it out. And I thought this was perfect. We were traveling, so we just added it. And then we visited Bass Pro Shop. And then we had game night that night. So I thought this was cute, adding this in here. It looks good both ways, all of the ways. You know, that is one thing to consider. When you're doing a project like this, I think it's important to use a whole collection that coordinates really well together, because then you don't have to worry about things not looking good together, right? So love that. Now that was 4, 4, 4, 4, and then 4, 5. So 4, 5 we didn't do much because, again, we were traveling. It was several hours. And then now we come over to this side. So 4, 6 should be the next part. So 4, 6 is going to be Graceland. And this whole thing is like Graceland. Graceland, Graceland. You know, if you've never been to Graceland, highly recommend it. But it is a beast. Like, you need to reserve several hours for this. So I tried to pick papers that reminded me of Graceland. You know, Elvis spent some time in Hawaii. We got to see that. He's got his jungle room, which kind of reminded me of this. His house is very black and white. He was a star, you know. Just all of these things reminded me of Graceland. And it was a big trip. There's a lot of photos. So that's why it takes up all of these flaps, right? Then we open. We then went to Central Barbecue, and we hung out that night. So this is all one day over here, okay? So that's 4, 6. And then 4, 7, okay? So now we come here, and I'm going to have to make sure that these are kind of documented in a way that people know where to go next. So making sure that there's dates on every photo or every page so that they understand they need to just keep going to get the whole experience here. Okay, next day we rose and shine, went to my favorite donut shop. And then we went to a build site for Shadrack's, and then spent the day at MLK. I did not leave as much room here as I probably should have. And I might move some stuff around, right? So I can do that. This is my album. So 4, 7 was a big day. And then we went to Jerry Lawler's. And then 4, 8 starts. Oh, here. So we went to the movie. Jerry Lawler's, and then the movie, and then 4, 8. 4, 8. Haven't figured out what this is yet. I can't remember, but I love it. Isn't that fun? And then 4, 8 and 4, 8. So I think I have some room. I think I need more room for MLK Day. And it might have to be this page, so I might move it around just a little bit. We'll see what happens. That is why we do this process, right? I can move these around very easily. I think this needs to be yeah. Look at that. Okay, so then I got some more room for MLK here. That looks perfect. And then in here, we can do something different. We're going to do something different for Jerry Lawler's. So MLK, MLK, Jerry Lawler's, Super Mario, and then Peabody. Oh, I know what it is. That's what we're missing. We're missing the overhang or outlook or Bass Pro Lunch. That's what we're missing. So that actually works out perfectly for this. And then hanging out all day. So that's how I did it. You can see I did end up not wanting to cut into a piece of paper for 5x8s, right? So I did use what I had with me, and this is like the same piece of paper but upside down. Who cares? It's going to be covered. You're not going to notice. So I think this is going to look great. And I'm going to put a sticky note on there that says MLK. Cool. Well, if this helped you in any way, please let me know. I would love to hear your opinion about how you approach these albums, what you specifically do with the back side of your album, because how you let people know which direction they should start your album with. I was trying to think intuitively, but if you're like, I think I would have started here instead of here, let me know in the comments below. And we'll go from there. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.